This program was produced by and first broadcast on Radio Kidnappers, a community access media station. Thanks to New Zealand On Air for making this type of programming possible.
Hi, it's Heiko here from the Acupuncture Clinic and the Acupuncture on Air show here on Radio Kidnappers. Thanks for joining the show, and a little bit of a different show for the first time. It's just me on my own without Ken there guiding me, and he's still over there. I can see him, but do I refer to you now as my producer, Ken?
Yes, I'm your producer now officially. Yes.
Well, that's I like that. I like this. I can talk about. I just contact my producer. So, anyway, we're having a show today, and we're talking to Angie Harding, who's the president of Acupuncture New Zealand, and we have a big conference coming up next week in Wellington. And the theme of the conference is mental health, acupuncture for mental health. And I thought it'd be quite interesting to have a bit of a show and then talk to Angie about that. Good morning, Angie. How are you?
Good morning, Heiko. I'm a little bit chilly actually this morning.
Well, that's because you live in Christchurch.
Hey, look, it just said it was 5 degrees with a real feel is 0. So, you know, it's still beautiful in Christchurch no matter how cold it is.
Yeah. Well, let's just start off the show just with a little bit of a background about yourself, and maybe sort of, you know, where you practice, how you got into acupuncture, and just a bit about your role as president, which I think you've this is your 4th year, finishing 4 years, isn't it, Angie?
It is indeed. Well, initially I was working in retail management, and I kind of needed something with a bit more depth. And I'd been doing martial arts, Chinese-style martial arts, for about 23 years, and I'd done Tai Chi for about 15, and just decided that Chinese medicine was the way I wanted to go, so I took myself off to college and studied, and then about 15 and a half years ago I opened my own practice here in Christchurch.
I heard you had a real famous teacher in Christchurch, was that right, or...?
Yeah, no. Actually, I have to be honest, I had some wonderful teachers in Christchurch. Yeah. Obviously, you were one of them, Heiko. Yeah. And then about 4 years ago, almost 4 years ago, I became the president of Acupuncture New Zealand, and I've been lucky enough to be working on many projects in that time, working towards the advancement of the Chinese medicine profession in New Zealand.
Do you want to just give us a little bit of a history and background about Acupuncture New Zealand, sort of in less than an hour, you know?
Okay, let's try and see if we can fit this into a minute even. So in 1977, we were founded with the aim of having Chinese medicine professions become a regulated authority under the Health Practitioners Competency Assurance Act. And we worked with the education sector to help bring the recognised level of education up. Now in New Zealand you can have a master's degree. Some of our members go overseas or link into universities here to get a PhD. We've implemented continual professional development for our practitioners, many other procedures and protocols just to help our practitioners so they can be the best that they can be, and also the safest for the New Zealand public.
And also I think just to bring to the attention too is that we're covered for ACC, aren't we, our members?
Oh, we are covered for ACC. I think it came in 1990, so it's certainly been recognised for quite some time under the ACC Act. Yeah.
And now with that, our conference coming up next week, I can remember back in one of our very, very early conferences in 2001, and I think we had a whole 28 people that attended the conference, and 6 of those were from the board. So I think we've come a long way since then, and in this year in particular, we've got a special theme. Now, do you want to tell us a bit about that?
Well, this year, 28 people. Gosh, this year we're expecting around 100 people.
Yeah.
And this year we talked, our organising committee, we talked about what theme we would look at going with this year. And, you know, mental health really is the hot topic for health in New Zealand at the moment. And sadly, it's due to our horrific statistics in comparison with the rest of the world.
If I can just interrupt here for a second, I actually did a bit of reading last night, and it's from people over the age of 15, 13% of the population have been prescribed antidepressants. So that's pretty serious.
That is very serious, and I think that our Chinese medicine is often overlooked when it comes to dealing with mental health. I think, sadly, I think people still see us as just being able to fix sore backs and shoulders, and they don't realise that we're a full medical model, that we treat the whole body and we treat everything related to the body. And, it is very serious. And these drugs, they can be very addictive for some people. And for other people, they just don't want to be put in the state that these drugs put them in. So we see more and more people coming to us with the aim of either avoiding medication or coming off the medication that they're on.
I know that with mental health, it's such a broad, vague term, really, because we have worry, we have anxiety, we have depression, and now we have so many new terms and labels. I think there's like over 100 now. We have clinical depression and post-traumatic stress disorder and bipolar and who knows all the other ones. Whereas the old Chinese medicine classics, they just sort of spoke about it in very simple terms. It's anger, it's grief, it's fear, it's pensiveness, or what we call too much thinking, it's worry. And these are sort of generalizations of emotional states, and then they were treated accordingly. But I know it's a big question, maybe too big to answer in a short term. But like, for example, something like bipolar, and in Chinese medicine, it sort of fits into maybe like a liver or a spleen disharmony, which is sort of vaguely causes anger and worry. And I mean, how would a traditional acupuncturist go about sort of treating one of these like modern psychiatric diseases? Are you able to sort of answer that in a nutshell, Angie?
Well, as practitioners, we look at the whole picture. So modern day diseases are always going to fit with what's going on throughout the body. That's where the causes lay. And in Chinese medicine, we look to the cause. I think all illnesses, both old or new, relate to our Chinese medicine classifications because of this. Right.
Very good. Now, I know in as we mentioned before that, with New Zealand, it's sort of like, and particularly because of ACC, there's a general public perception that acupuncture treats pain, it treats back pain, it treats headaches. But, now, are we finding that now our practitioners are starting to see more patients for mental health support, or perhaps even patients coming to us to try to get off the medications? What are you sort of finding there with our general practitioners in the field?
Well, in November last year, we actually did a survey, and there were 238 practitioners surveyed, and of the 544 treatments they'd given, 113 of them were for mental health and psychological disorders. So, you're looking at, that's a huge amount.
No, yeah, that's really
comparison.
Good.
Yeah, and that's we ran that survey, and they were the results that we got back in November when we wanted to know exactly where the medicine was going and what the need was for in New Zealand.
Oh, that's really good. So this conference then coming up, acupuncture and mental health, it's a good start to promoting awareness that acupuncture has a role in helping the mental health state. Does Acupuncture New Zealand have any other sort of promotional or educational strategies to promote how acupuncture can help the mind? I don't know, brochures, or we'll have a stall in the St. Luke's shopping mall, or any plans ahead for that?
Well, we have a habit of popping up. We've got our regular places you can find us, lantern festivals, some of the women's expos. Many practitioners often attend smaller events around the country. And do we specifically have these things for mental health? Not generally. I suspect as the need goes on, there will be more. But you'll often go to smaller events and there'll be people in their own areas at these events, and you just come up and say hi, and they're going to be only too pleased to answer any questions for anybody.
Because I know that we have a whole bunch of textbooks available, and nearly every week I get an email and there's a new book that's out about something. But, there's a lot on, as we said, arthritis and injuries and so forth. But there are textbooks now that are being released on the treatment of mental health and psychiatric disorders. But are we getting any of our members, any of our practitioners, perhaps like specialising in mental health?
Well, we've got many members who have a special interest in treating mental health, doing further studies in this field. I mean, I myself have been doing a number of webinars for treating children's mental health. And in Wellington, we have the Acupuncture for Mental Health group who regularly meet up to discuss treatment methods and any new research that's available. There is so much information out there for us as practitioners to advance the treatment on that. There are more and more of us that are treating more and more mental health.
Okay. Listen, look, my producer over there, he's waving at me because we run to a tight ship here, tight schedule, so we'll have to sort of finish up now. But before we go, Angie, just tell us how people can contact you, and then also just how people can contact the acupuncture organisation to find a practitioner that's close to them.
Okay, well, I'm practicing in Christchurch and can be contacted on 03 385 7905, or you can check out the website palmschinesemedicinecentre.com or my Facebook page. And Acupuncture New Zealand, they can be contacted on 0800 Acupuncture, or there's also a website, www.acupuncture.org.nz, or again, we have a Facebook page that you can check out.
All right, and what I'll do is that once this show gets up onto the YouTube, I'll put those links and details into the comments section, so it makes it easy for people to find. And I know that you had another choice for a song to finish the show, which was "Lean on Me," but I'm going to override the show and do my song, you know. And I think even the producer he's actually okay about this song. It's Good Vibrations from the Beach Boys, and one of the reasons I've chosen it is one, for it's just a fantastic song, and it's uplifting. But what I find is really interesting is that the guy who wrote it, Brian Wilson, and he actually suffered some serious depression and anxiety and all this, to the point that he had to actually leave the band and not be able to tour anymore. And yet he writes such inspiring, sort of uplifting music. So it's a dedication to him. I think he's the song, and we'll look forward to it, and we'll see you on the next show. Thanks very much for coming, Ange.
Great. Thanks for having me, Heiko.
This program was produced by and first broadcast on Radio Kidnappers, a community access media station. Thanks to New Zealand On Air for making this type of programming possible.